pleasure speaking to you. So I know this is going to be, of course, wonderful, but I will put up what we are discussing and
Okay.
then we'll get into the topic. So
Okay.
World Mediators Conference, and I don't know whether you people have watched the other sessions. Have you found time for that? So we've been going on. Not too many sessions have happened up to now. I had to take a little break, but the mask I wear as a mediator is what Michelle is going to take us through. And please watch the recordings. They're all there on the YouTube channel. I won't get into about talking about anything that I do. I've spoken a lot about it, but mediatorvikram.com has information about all the events and shows. You can find links there. So that's what it is, Michelle. You want to tell us a little bit about yourself, and then let's get into the topic.
Sure. And first, I have a question. Do I have share screen capability?
Absolutely, Michelle.
Great.
Absolutely.
It's just something small, short. I don't have a PowerPoint. It's just a few things that I wanted to share to help support my topic. So good morning to everyone. Well, good afternoon. No, it's still morning on the East Coast, morning on in California, which is where I am today. Tina, where are you at?
I am in the United States. I'm in Delaware.
Okay,
you're in California?
I'm in California now, but you're on the East Coast, so it's 11 o'clock, 11:02 yes. There with you. So I'm from Baltimore, so you're not too far from in Delaware. So it's afternoon with you. So good morning to you. And Vikram, is it 11 at night?
No, it's only 8:30.
I'm sorry, 8:30 at night. Yeah, I didn't mean 11. I knew that. Yeah. So good evening to you, Vikram.
Thank you.
So I've been on here so many times, and I always leave parts of me out because I hate talking about myself. You know, in my past, you know, I didn't have anything to talk about except for all of the bad things about me. So, and now I have so many positive things to talk about myself. And then it's just like, I feel like I'm saying I too much. And it's too many good things. And I feel like sometimes people are like, ugh, but, which it shouldn't be that way.
But the good thing, before you tell us, the good thing is that you've graduated. You've done your, you have to talk about that. Congratulations.
Yes. This past May, what was it? May 19th. One of my, I'm not even going to say it's my final graduation because I plan on continuing. I find myself being a career student. So I graduated once again. This is my 4th degree from Pepperdine. So another degree from Pepperdine. I have 2 from Pepperdine. Here we go. So Pepperdine Law. They also have Strauss Institute, and that is specialized for dispute resolution. Funny thing, it's nothing in here yet.
That's okay.
Oh, I think that's my share screen.
Good evening, welcome to the.
I'm sorry.
There's something playing there.
Yeah, that was my share screen. I'm sorry. It's nothing in there yet because it's just so fresh that I have not received my degree because it just happened. So yay, that's one of my greatest accomplishments is to have, I can't believe I have actually 4 degrees now, especially considering I graduated high school through night school. So I'm just so excited and proud of myself. I think my mom is beyond proud of me. Both of my boys was able to attend graduation. My mom was able to fly to California. She attended. My oldest son, he flew to California and attended. My cousin flew over and attended. So it was just, you know, such a great experience for me. So I have a degree in business administration, a degree in psychology, degree in a master's in legal studies, and now my master's in dispute resolution. So I'm happy.
But Michelle, when you bang whatever you banged into, your volume has gone down. Your volume, you're not as loud as you were when you started off. Is it because you graduated now? The wisdom is showing, and
I don't know what hold on. Let me see if,
Yeah, it's getting better. It's getting better.
okay,
Much better.
okay.
Yeah.
I didn't graduate with the any type of computer degrees, you know. So pardon me, but I'm still learning on all of this computer stuff. That's not my specialty, Vikram. So, but
Okay.
so that's that. I guess my background. So let's go over that really quickly. And then I guess you want me to go ahead and get into this so I don't waste anybody else's time. Is anyone behind me
No,
or?
no, to the
Okay,
last
good.
session. So no issue at all.
Okay.
Time is not an issue. It never should be for me, but sometimes because of these back-to-back sessions, I have to do that. I have to cut them, but
Right.
otherwise, yes, yeah.
Right. And I try to respect your time and everyone else's time as well. So my background started off in the medical field. Then I was a medical assistant, a nurse assistant, then medical assistant. Then I did phlebotomy. Then I went into the bar business. I was a bartender, general manager, bar owner, all kind of crazy things to put me where I am now. Okay. I am, like we always talk about, an activist. I strive to help protect people's rights. Okay, I am a professor of the social sciences. I just was accepted to also teach social justice classes as well. I teach at SNHU, Southern New Hampshire University. It's interdisciplinary studies along with the social sciences and now social justice courses. They're all general education, the first level 101 courses. I am also a mediator, of course. I do every type of mediation you think about it. Anything you would throw at me, I do. The one type of mediation that I am not, I would say, an expert at, or that I have not done a lot of, is divorce mediations. I can do them, but they are very detailed. They're difficult. It's just, for me, it's a lot that goes in with divorce mediations. I'm not saying that I cannot do them. They're just not my cup of tea. So, but I am able to do them, but that's just not something that I've really had my hands on. I do eviction mediations right now, and I volunteer with an attorney named John. He has a company where I'm able to do federal cases with him. And he's been so great to me, allowing me to participate and learn through him federal cases in California. So that's an opportunity that I wouldn't have because in California, you have to be an attorney to mediate those type of cases. And so that's great. I really appreciate that. And I guess that's it. I said, I'm a professor, activist, mediator. Okay. So, and I'm a mother. And what else, Vikram?
Okay, that's a qualification we need. That's the one that we need here in terms of mediation also. What you bring in because of that qualification, I think that's the most important in the whole thing. But can I put up some pictures before you start your session?
Of course.
Can I? Is it all right? Okay.
Yeah.
Let's just, okay. Let's just have a look. Okay?
Oh, this is good, Vikram. Yes.
That's a big
is
day,
so awesome.
Michelle. Yeah.
Really
Yeah.
awesome. Congratulations.
She's worked hard for
Exciting.
this. Michelle's worked hard.
Oh my goodness.
So, oh, there are lots of other pictures. Maybe I'll cut it there. So,
Thank you, Vikram.
yeah. And there is so
Well,
much that Michelle has to tell us about herself. I think we have to have one, like I told you, we have to have one conversation, and in conversation with the beautiful minds, we have to fix that up. But these back-to-back events are happening. I haven't had time to have
Yeah.
those shows. Those shows have, I mean, I don't know, they've kind of taken a break, but we have to have that conversation because Michelle has so much to tell us about herself, and she's had some.
Yeah. And I really want to have that conversation, that beautiful mind conversation, because it's important to understand my background in order to understand me today as a mediator. I think that people, we all as mediators, we have so much to offer, but that reason why we are mediators and how we're able to do what we do, it's important to know where we came from, to understand who and what we are today. And for me, my story, my background, I think is something that I'm now ready to tell. For so many years, I've been afraid to tell it, and I didn't want to tell it. I've been embarrassed, between fear and embarrassment. But I'm ready. I'm confident enough, and I'm not afraid. I don't believe anyone can hurt me or my family. So, I'm prepared to tell it.
Perfect. So July, after the conference, let's fix up with the earliest in July that you have time. Let's
Yep.
do that. Yeah. Because look, the thing is that the idea behind, of course, in Conversation with a Beautiful Mind was that yes, up to a certain age, people don't want to talk about everything. So the evolution of a mediator was for that. So now that's become a 70 plus for those who are 70 plus. So because again, I don't know whether Tina gets offended. Tina, please don't get offended. But the whole idea was that for mediators are not made in 40-hour factories. Evolution of a mediator was that all this that the person has gone through, what Michelle has gone through all her life, makes her who she is. And it's not that you will put her into that 40 hours and make her a mediator. It's not happening that way, and I have to make sure that it goes out. So Michelle is who she is because of everything she's gone through, and she's evolving, and so is Tina. Everyone is evolving. It's not that now this is it, now you've become a mediator. No, you're evolving as a person. And I've been saying that, look, anyway, who makes a mediator? People in dispute, they can make anyone a mediator. So those are the only people who make mediators, not 40-hour factories. But sorry, Tina, I've had to do this in the last session also. Here also, I've spoken about the 40-hour factories. I'm sorry, I should not here. Let's keep it on the topic. Yes, Michelle. So,
But Vikram, that's one of the things that I even discuss in my topic today is my level of maturation in mediation. Just like with the brain and our frontal lobe, how maturation is done as far as the irrational part of thinking and our risk assessment, it goes through experience. So with mediation, we are maturing as mediators also, and through experience. And so, my life is my experience as a mediator. Is that so 40 hours? I'm sorry, it's just, I think that it's kind of hard for a person to just walk into it after 40 hours of training and to say, okay, I'm a mediator. I think it's a lot of steps that one needs to take. And it's just, I feel like it's more than 40 hours, but I think that the people that do have 40 hours of training may also have a background that led them to, that 40 hours. You don't have to have a master's degree in mediation. I chose to do it because my path took me there. But it was just something I never in a million years thought that I would do this. But my background, then my life experiences, mediating without the degree, and then of course getting the degree. But it's my life. My life has been all about mediation.
This is why I'm trying to emphasize on this, only because when I talk about that World Mediation Circle and creating circles in every corner of the world, in schools, colleges, or communities, those are people who are out there because of their life experiences and of course their wisdom. They are already actually practicing as mediators without that name. They're not calling themselves that. So they're all there. We have to bring them out instead of saying we have something to give you and we are going to make you something. I think people, let's not fool them. Let's not fool people in general. I'm saying that you can't do that. Yes, some people connect when they go to all these kind of programs. They connect with the content because it is what they are. It's not that it made them who they are. They actually are getting words to their experiences. So
Right.
all that theory that you can connect to because you've actually experienced it. And yes, so that's why Ken Cloke's words connect with you because yes, this is something that you've experienced, and
Yep.
this is one of those things which you have to experience. It's not a theoretical thing. Again,
It should-
so, we'll go back to ChatGPT. If it was all about that, it was about the content that you have, then I think ChatGPT is available for that. It is of experiences and how to, lots more. But again, we are digressing from the topic, Michelle.
No, you're within my topic, so it's totally
Okay.
cool. Okay, so first I want to share screen.
But this time I decided I'm not going to put countries in front of people's names. Is that all right?
And that's fine. And it's funny because I saw other people's names without the
It's done.
countries.
Yeah, remove that.
I was going to switch it, and I was just going to put mine, but I saw no one else had theirs,
Yeah.
so I was just like, okay.
No, even in all the communication that's going out, I'm not putting flags. I'm saying World Mediators is a pool by itself. You don't have to be divided by countries because it doesn't, there's nothing called, I mean, there's no concept of nationality is required. It's a person, and you are as good as a mediator wherever in the world you are to whoever you want to mediate for and whoever wants you to mediate. So countries is out. I don't know, future other topics where legislation, okay, we're talking about a legislation in a country, maybe there we did put them up. I mean, otherwise I've been doing that, but I think we are going to remove countries. It seems that's the thought process right now.
I enjoy seeing it just for knowledge sake, because I was like, wow, look at all of these different locations that I'm connecting with, and what we have alike, so that was one of the joys that I got out of it. But it also, I could see why you would say, okay, let's take it away, because I want to look at all of us as one.
Yeah,
exactly.
exactly.
We're not, separate. Yeah, I'm from the United States and you're in India, but we're still just one. We're all, okay.
Exactly.
I'll share my screen.
Wow.
Let me make sure. Hold on.
While you're sharing it, can I talk? I can.
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Michelle is someone who people in India or in Argentina or in Indonesia, everyone can connect to. It's the person that you are. It has nothing to do with where you are from. And so initially it was why I used to put countries was to tell people that you have stereotypes about countries. Here, meet this person from this country, because they're all wonderful people, and this person is there from this country. Is this what you thought people from that country are? Yes, ma'am, please.
Are you ready for me?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so, first I wanted to share this poem because my topic is the mask I wear. And it was a poem by Paul Laurence Dunbar titled "We Wear the Mask." And for me, I thought that this was really powerful, me as a Black woman first and a Black mediator second. And it reflects on how I am forced to conform to stereotypes while I'm a mediator. So, okay, so it's short, don't worry. Okay, so we wear the mask that grins and lies. It hides our cheeks and shades our eyes. This debt we pay to human guile. With torn and bleeding hearts we smile, and mouth with mirrored subsidies. Why should the world be overwise in counting all our tears and sighs? Nay, let them only see us while we wear the mask. We smile, but oh, great Christ, our cries to thee from tortured souls arise. We sing, but oh, the clay is vile beneath our feet and long the mile. But let the world dream otherwise, we wear the mask. Now, let me stop sharing really quick. Okay, so from the way I look at things, when I walk into a room, the response that I receive, or even when I'm on the phone, the response that I receive from people is they look straight at me, it's immediately what I look like. And Tina, I'm sure you can relate to me. I'm glad that you're in this room with me. It's not about the piece of paper that I have. It's not about, the 40-hour training. That doesn't matter. It's not about my Pepperdine degree. That doesn't matter. And Pepperdine is a great school, and it doesn't matter. I could say I have 4 degrees all prestigious schools, whatever, it doesn't matter. And first thing that people see is what I said, I'm first a Black woman. So when I walk into the room of a mediation, to do a mediation, and people see me as a Black woman, I could tell, the demeanor changes. I have to look a certain way as far as the way I dress. I have to walk in a certain way, the way I carry myself as in my movements. I'm one that talks with my hands a lot, and of course in cross-cultural settings, I am mindful of when I'm talking, I try not to use my hands because it can be offensive to different cultures. So I am aware of those different things, but for right now, I'm just going to talk about within the United States and just basic basic settings, just maybe like a white and Black type of setting. I'm not going to talk about any other type of races, okay? It can be situations where I'm looked at and a person listen to me and my tone can come off as aggressive. I always have to have, a smile on my face when I'm talking. Otherwise, I'm considered aggressive. And if you notice, Vikram, when I'm talking to you, I always have a grin. I always talk with a smile, and it's just to come off as polite or
Oh my God, Michelle, now you tell me. And I always thought that was a genuine smile coming through all the time.
Well,
So
I really don't like you.
now we know there's a mask. Oh my God, Michelle, you changed everything.
It's just I'm just, but you know what I'm saying? It's a mask. It's something that I have learned to do in conversations, and I'm going to talk about mediations. I'm not talking about you, Vikram, but it's something that I've learned to do because I'm trying to, in mediation, we have to develop trust first, and when I'm walking in and I have participants that, let's just say, I have two males, let's make it two white males. And here I walk in and I'm this small Black woman. And now I'm going to let you know, yes, I have tattoos on me. All right. And I cover them up. I'm not going to let that be seen because, of course, that's stereotyped, So, of course, everyone's going to look at me like she can't do anything. They're looking at me and judging me instead of trusting that I'm coming in here skilled. All of my degrees, it doesn't matter. What we've discussed previously, it doesn't matter. They're not considering my mind. They're considering what I walk in and I look like, from my skin color, my gender. And now we're looking at all of this. They're looking at my body shape. They're looking at what I'm wearing. How dare not come in with braids in my hair? It's all of these different stereotypes. So I have to put on a mask as a Black female when I'm walking into a mediation just to be accepted. And to be honest, it sucks. It's really, it's a process that is, it's upsetting because we have to, as Black women, constantly put on its makeup from head to toe. And even down to, me wearing my glasses. It's times that I don't want to wear my glasses. Okay, Vikram, I can't see, but I can see enough where I don't have to put my glasses on, okay? And I may put my glasses on just so I can look like I'm smart. And why would that, why do I have to feel like I need to put that mask on? I'm trying to cover up stereotypes, and this is me wearing a mask. And I find myself I think it's something that we've learned, you know, our gender, you know, our culture, we've learned to do this from a young age. You know, I think it's something that's inherent. Tina, I see you going like this. And I think that it's something that it's hard to just get out of. And as I pay attention to myself now, you know, especially when I'm going through the mediation process, especially the beginning of the process, I'm really paying attention to it. I'm really getting into, you know, the do's and don'ts for myself in order to be accepted. And during my training, I remember, you know, being told that this is a white male profession. And I'm like, you know, no, how is this a white male profession? You know, it's a skill. It's something that I knew that I was able to do, and I know that I'm able to do it and do it well. And I don't feel as though a gender or race should define how well one should do this job. And then when I would look through, you know, different jobs, and I would see, you know how you'll see a website, and then they'll have the pictures of the different people representing the company. And then I would just see older white males. I never saw anyone that looked like me. Now, I'm not an old person, but I'm not a young person. You know, so I said to myself, well, do I look, you know, do people feel as though am I too young, you know, to do it? Do I have that young look where do they feel like I'm not, you know, mature enough to do this type of job? Because I'm not young. And I can understand where one may feel like I want someone older and skilled. Okay, that's not a problem. But it seemed like we're going to push away from people being attorneys, but it was just people who look like me wasn't being represented in this field. Then it's no way for me to put a mask on to look like those people that were being represented in those on those websites. There were no masks available for me. So I had to present myself on paper appropriately. And when there were times where when I first got into this, and I would say, okay, my name, Michelle Edison, is that a neutral sounding name? Would anyone look at my name and would they say, that's a Black woman? And I felt like, I think it's neutral sounding. I remember lots of women that were white would have the name Michelle. And Thomas Edison, you know, he's white. And, you know, I felt like, you know, maybe people wouldn't think. And people were saying no. And I'm like, no, how could you say no to my applications? And so my son says, Mommy, put on your application white instead of when they ask you your race, put white. And so that's what I did. And I got a call back. And I'm like, oh my goodness, that's all it took. But the thing is, I had to put a mask on again when I'm talking, because, you know, it's funny how people can say, I don't hear color, but you do. And in mediation, if we're talking on the phone, because I do phone mediation, what is it? Telephonic, is that what it's called? I think that's what it's called.
Okay. Yeah, perfect. Yeah. Okay.
Telephonic, is that how to say?
Yeah. Telephonic is there. Yeah, that's a word. That's a word.
That's a word. I do telephonic mediations. And of course you can, I know that you could tell one's race through their tone, you know. And one day I was on the phone. I was doing a mediation. I'm gonna just give you an example. I was on the phone and I was doing my, no, I'm not gonna, I was doing my intake for a particular type of mediation, and it was an older white lady, and she answered the phone. But I have her intake information, so that's how I know that. That's why I'm saying it was an older white lady, okay? Because I have her age and her socioeconomic status. I have all of her information, okay? So I'm going over the details of her situation, just getting her side of things. I'm going through the situation, okay? And as soon as I started talking, she immediately became very aggressive with me. And when I say aggressive, I'm not talking about the type of aggressive where it's what's the type of word? I'm not talking about the I'm ready to fight you because we're over the phone. I'm talking about that a verbal aggressiveness where it was obvious she did not want my type of help from a person like me. And she started questioning my capabilities to help her. And the funny thing to me was she needed my help. She sought help. She lived in Section 8 housing, was in the process of being thrown out of her home and needed financial help. And I was calling to assist her. And, but I was too Black to help her. She did not want the help because she heard my tone and it was not that the right tone to help her. And so in mediation, so what I'm saying is I needed to put a mask on. I needed to change my voice. And sometimes I do it and sometimes I don't. Sometimes I'm just so busy, with work that I just do not feel like adding that intonation in my voice, that putting that high pitch in my voice, or, adding that intonation to every ending of the sentence that they want me to do. And because it doesn't make any sense to me, that's what they want me to do. And I'm like, it doesn't even make sense to me because that intonation means an exclamation mark or a question mark at the end of the sentence. And it doesn't make any sense to me. And that also does not mean that a person is of a particular race. That's not what it means, and it's a stereotype again for that other race. It's still a stereotype. It's wrong. But that's what they want in order for me to take away who I am. And I'm like, I cannot do this. It's taxing, it's tiring on me. And like I said, especially when I am bombarded with so much work as a mediator and I'm trying to, you help so many different people. So it's so many different masks, I'm putting on all of these different masks just to cover up, like I said, me. I'm a Black woman first. And then second, I'm a Black mediator. And I try to approach my mediations as a neutral, Vikram. I try to approach my mediations as a.
But Michelle, when you said that in that way, Tina didn't understand why you said that in that way. This is because Tina had that symposium on neutrality and mediation, and I've been talking about that. So that's why.
That's funny. I said that to get you a little bit, Vikram, just to.
I know.
No, I approach every mediation with fairness to myself. you know, I want to be fair to me, because then I'm able to approach everything with a sense of sincerity, because I want to fix the problem. I don't want to do anything. And I am so fair, Vikram, that in that situation where the woman was obvious, she was so blatant with her racism towards me, I called my coordinator and I told her, I said, this lady, she doesn't want my help. Specifically, it's my help, Black female help. And I suggested, when I went over it, she's like, oh, and she says, well, I'm just going to take her off. I said, no, you don't have to take her off. We don't have to remove her. She needs the help. You know, I'm not going to fight fire with fire. Wrong is wrong, but I would be wrong also. I'm bringing myself down to her level if I say, yeah, take her off, and that would just be to spite her. That makes me not a neutral. And I said, no, but what she needs is a white male. I knew what she wanted. I knew what she needed in it. And it wasn't right. It was not fair. And do you know that the coordinator, she gave her that, and he was able to settle and mediate the case with no problem. She respected him. She did not respect me. And those are the type of situations where, you know, we have to walk into every type of mediation wearing a mask. Every type of mediation that I go into, I have to be prepared for something new, something different, because it doesn't matter what my training has been, how similar a mediation is. You could say, you know, Michelle, you're going to do a community mediation, and it's just about community violence, let's just say. And it's something that I could do every day. But every case is different. It's not like, you know, it's a franchise where you say, it's a McDonald's French fry and every fry has to be the same, cooked the same, you know, in every state is always going to be the same. So, you know, every person is going to be the same because it's the same situation. It's not like that. It can be the same situation, but it's going to always be something extra added in there. You may have that same recipe, but it's going to have a short fry, a long fry, medium-sized fry. You know, it's going to be a lot of differences within that batch of fries. So that's how people are. And so you're not going to have a situation where it's always textbook. And so I'm prepared. Every time I walk into a mediation, I'm prepared, and I have my mask on, and I have a mask that I throw on, a new mask for every type of mediation. And I'm always prepared, and I'm always ripping it on and I'm ripping it off, because I know that in my mind, my goal is to settle this situation, to resolve a situation, and to prevent any type of further issues, because conflict can cause life and death. You know, it could be tons of money, you know, anything. And my goal is always to help prevent issues.
But
And if I have,
you're an honest person, aren't you?
very
Are you
much
honest? Okay. So what is the Vikram events mask? Please tell us about that.
Okay.
You're an honest person. I want to hear this.
Okay. The Vikram mask, initially my mask with you was, I was scared. So I had the mask of fear on, and I didn't know what to expect. So it was, you had the Michelle of fear. And I think in that first session, I probably didn't smile a lot because I didn't know what to expect. And as a man, I didn't know how you were going to approach me. You were very serious. You don't smile a lot. And then my internet kept going out. And so I was really afraid. I was sweating a lot. And I tried to convince you that I was really serious about what I do. And I did not feel like I did a great job. And I was trying to put on a mask that was serious, a convincing mask. And I think it was just I was afraid. I'm just going to be honest. I was very afraid.
Why?
Especially
Why, Michelle?
because
Why?
my internet kept going out.
So why did
And
it start with fear? Well, you said you started with fear. Why did it start that way?
because you have a very serious look on your face.
Okay. So do I need to change that? Can I just be, this is my authentic self.
Exactly. No, you just be you. And because once I got to talk to you and just really understand you, then I was like, oh, he's cool. He's really about his business. And I always talk about you now. I respect you tremendously. And yeah, I was afraid.
Okay. So that part is gone now. So that part is gone. It's okay.
I'm not afraid of you anymore. But it was a fear.
Perfect. So no masks now. Now this is Michelle in her own authentic self. Right.
Yeah.
Good. Well,
Yeah.
let's just bring Tina. Let's bring Tina in. She's been out there. She's raised her hand for quite some time. And she must have got tired now, Tina. Hand raised for quite some time.
Oh, Tina's had her hand raised.
Yes.
I'm sorry, Tina.
Oh,
I
that's
think you have to
okay.
do the physical one now.
Tina, I was not even looking. I have my notes to the right of me. Tina, I said I had my glasses on because it's a mask. Sometimes it's my Superman mask. I can see, but I can't see. Okay. Okay. So I'm sorry.
Oh, no problem at all. First, I want to thank you for your honesty and sharing your experience. I don't think it's done enough. Now, I'm pretty sure I'm older than you are. So let me tell you about how I've experienced what you spoke of a lot, and I have experienced it. I've been challenged. So what makes you competent, basically, to be able to mediate my case? And what I've learned is to have patience. I learned about wearing a mask early on, working back in the 90s, and there was a certain expectation. I remember when I graduated from one of my schools, and they were like, "You're going to be okay. You're going to fit right in, so you don't have to worry about it so much." And that always stuck in the back of my head because I found it so jarring and just sad. So I can give an example. I had a job interview, and it was for a mediator position. And everything seemed to go well, but I don't know if it's a Freudian slip or what. The hiring manager says, "I'm trying to figure out how you're going to fit in." And I thought DEI is on every HR person's mind. So what is it that a Black, educated, well-educated, have multiple degrees, middle-aged woman, what is it about me that in this particular location, you would have to struggle in any way? This was an actual courthouse, actually, which is really even more concerning because the people that are coming to you to get mediation support, they are brown like me. So I'm wondering, well, who is who are your clients? Who are the people you're serving? And I just found it so insulting and humiliating. But I was like, if I ask and challenge this person, I'm definitely not going to get the job. I might as well had anyway because they didn't hire me. I'm like, I've got advanced degrees in this field. What's going on? And so it always makes you. I try not to jump to racism or prejudice at every single unpleasant experience because there's always some element of something you don't know. But this was kind of the most, I was just offended. And I didn't know how to express it in that moment. I just left away feeling like, what else can I do? It reminded me, sometimes I'm familiar with Section 8 because I worked in that area. And I always had it set for like, I would tell my tenants, if you ever feel discriminated against, you let me know. They had one incident where they called me up. They said, Miss Tina, they have an advertisement for this place. But when I spoke to them, they told me it was not available. So when I called them back, they assumed I was white, Caucasian. And they said, of course we have this place available. When do you want to come see it? And then they talked about the lower echelon and some other very inappropriate comments. And then I let them know who I was and that my tenant just called you about an hour ago. And I'm going to expect that you are going to do what you're supposed to do, or we're going to have a situation. But I shouldn't have to call, but they always knew they could call me up. And if they felt something was going on, I'll take care of it. It happens so often and it's so pervasive and in your face. I would be filing complaints nonstop at that time. I doubt it's any better now, but so I had a mediation it dealt with an assault case, and it was about, the core of the case was about these racial epithets being used in a multi-mixed family. And the word that was being used did apply to me. So right off the bat, when one of the parties saw me, I was worried they were literally going to faint or have a straight up heart attack. I wasn't sure which one, but they were so shocked. And they were like, oh God, that reaction where you're just totally, mortified. And so I spoke to them, I said, okay, this could be challenging for me. I'm going to be very direct with you. And I might need a moment here and there. But I'm going to do my best to honor what we now call self-determination in order for them to be able to resolve this nasty dispute. So one of the things that I learned was what he thinks of me is not my problem. That's on him or her, him or her, whoever that party is. That's their problem. They do not define me as a human being. It says more about them than it does me. But I had time to prepare to be in an open state of mind to be able to sit through and listen to a lot of unpleasant things being said and being in a position to challenge. So tell me, what does that look like? What does that word mean to you? And put them on, kind of call them on the carpet. And to the point where the word was, they're not really, I'm seeing a reduction of the use during the process, because if you have to explain yourself and you have to step up and own that word that you use so freely to marginalize others, it kind of lessens the power of the word. I have to, in my role as mediator, be open to all kinds of situations and people coming in to seek help. And this was real challenging because the stuff that was being said was so hard. But at the same time, in order for me to gain trust so that they would work with me, we literally had to make, I always say he or she, to have a little bit of anonymity. He or she had to know, that party had to know that at their worst, that they were able to be authentic in that moment, but then they also knew that they would be challenged as to why is this such an important word for you? And at the end of the day, that conversation was enlightening to me because I've never spoken to anyone one-on-one where they literally challenged there was identity threat, essentially, when you think about it, because my identity was a problem. But in the beginning of that, before we started a session, I noticed they didn't want to touch my hand, to shake my hand as I introduced myself. But at the end, as I continued at him, or she, or whatever, the party, I noticed some shifting. There was also an exchange of some words to me after the session. It was quite an experience, but at the same time, in self-determination, I have to be able to be prepared. And a lot of that's going to be emotional intelligence, which I'm still working on. It's a continuum, because I know that as a Black woman, I'm going to face all kinds of judgments and these biases, preconceived biases towards me, how I speak, how I look. And I think the mask is such a perfect example of what it's like. And you can tell right away. I totally agree with you. Immediately, I knew. But it was interesting to also see someone be so caught off guard and literally shocked that they had to work with a Black person. And this was at the crux of this nasty case. So I would say to you, I've gotten to the point, and I'm still working. I'm a work in progress to meet people where they are. And almost like there's the process, I'm in the process, and then I'm kind of, there's a little distance there where I'm able to protect myself and my integrity, my being, my Blackness, and not let someone totally diminish it, because I recognize that they're the ones the problem with my race. I have no problem about theirs. So that was a very tough, but very powerful experience. I remember sitting in my office and just trying to decompress what it is to sit through a process where someone defines your identity, what's wrong with it, why they don't respect it, why you're whatever it is they want to call you. It was just a very powerful piece. But that my takeaway was, okay, if I'm going to be honoring self-determination, I'm going to have to meet this person where they're at. I was able to, our first agreement was if we were going to try to get through this process, we'll check in. If I need a moment because they've said something that was just really outrageous and had to take a moment, a pause for a moment. I told them that I would pause. That means I'll be quiet for just a few seconds, a minute, and just let it sit in the room where they had time to think about what just came out of their mouth and that they said it to another human being, which obviously they didn't see me as a human being, but to be able to let them sit in that, with that word, with what they were saying. So it would be, for me, honoring self-determination, knowing my worth as a human being, meeting them where they were at that time. And interestingly enough, after having to own what came out of their mouth, which people normally don't experience because they throw racial slurs all the time, but never do they have someone ask them, how do you define that? And what does that word, why is that word so important to you? Or what does it mean to you? And that kind of puts that burden back on them. But I have to meet them where they're at if I'm going to try to help them. But in some cases, no matter what, and that this person actually agreed, I had to build their trust. And they had, once they realized that I was going to keep my word and they could be their authentic self in the process, then there was hearing yourself try to explain why you hurt people with a racially charged word, and you listen to your sad explanation. It does, there was a shift. I could see the shift as we kept processing, and he kept going on and on, why it was so hurtful and why you're in my office today trying to avoid consequences of your actions. So, but long story short, at the end, that individual, that party was enlightened, let's say, enlightened. We could say there are signs of remorse, embarrassment. I could say that person seemed like there was the potential that they could try to start changing a little bit. But at the end of the day, they are who they are. Because they let me know, this is who I am. Are you willing to talk to me? And when I said yes, they were surprised. And so I kept my word, and there was a space created that they could be who they are. Because when you think about it, however they're fighting at home, if they can learn how to communicate better, and they could be authentic in the process with, some limitations, obviously, that would help. You can only grow from that experience. But it was a rich conversation, a tough conversation, but I'm glad I did not have any regret whatsoever sitting in this space with this individual and witnessing and experiencing and gaining the understanding that I could work with anybody if once I'm in the right headspace. And that takes emotional intelligence on my part to keep working, so I know what my triggers are. And believe me, I was like, I need, those little balls that you squeeze. I think I had something with me, and I was just like, gosh, This is really
That is-
unbelievable.
But
Yeah.
sometimes,
But it was rich.
sometimes it's like when it comes, it's like boom, and you're like, what? Where did that come from? It's like,
Yeah.
so I know what you mean, but and for me, it's like I think when I'm putting on a mask to deal with a person during mediation or situation, it could be both sets of people in the mediation whose behavior is irrational, or their thought pattern is irrational. And it could be, something unethical, their moral compass is just, it's racially motivated. I don't want to be the center of conflict, and I have nothing to do with the conflict that we're dealing with, And so when their risk assessment or the lens in which they view the world and make rational decisions, it has not reached maturation, and the way they respond to maybe moral and I guess ethical situations may be difficult. I think about what mask do I put on for those situations, for those who are serotonin reduced, meaning their behavior is not, it's irrational. And it's because their rational center is formed around being irrational. So that explains why there may be a lack of empathy, and they don't look at things as being what we would say as being rational. They're looking at it, their rational is to us irrational, and so it's hard to put a mask on to try to convince, because then it becomes a battle. And I'm not going to battle because it's not the place and it's not the time. That's not the mask that I'm putting on at that time as a mediator. So sometimes I try to assess the situation appropriately. And during that period, I find that I'm kind of like negotiating. It's like walking up steps, moving through, because I'm working the trusting part. I'm trying to get you to trust me in the process. And in order for me to help you or help you and allow you to allow me to help you, I'll sometimes have to separate the two. And because if you both parties are on the same page, and that same page is being against me because of what I am, and so they find a togetherness in that, that's great, you have that in common, but then it's the whole togetherness becomes ganging up on me. Then I separate, and then I'll bring them together. I'll find that part during caucus, and I'll say, okay, great, we have that in common, but let's stick to what's at hand. And I'll try to, I don't care that you're racist towards me. I'm going to be upfront, because I understand it's a reason to that behavior. People come from different backgrounds, different lifestyles, and I know that I can't change a person in one sitting.
No.
And that's not my goal, is to change you in one sitting. I hope to make a difference in a person's life. I want to make a difference in a person's life. And I hope to create some type of, movement in one's brain through time. But I know that it does take time. And
Yeah.
I would hope that dealing with me, they could say, oh, she's different. And maybe they'll say, maybe not all people that look like her, I was wrong. People that look like her are not all alike, and that way that's a stepping stone. They could start by not grouping people all together as being one type, and saying, okay, now I see a difference, because people are all different. We are not all just one type of thing, just like Vikram said, I'm not going to put the United States and, all the different, he's going to just leave our names and just have us be individuals, because we are all different. People are just different. Just like we have different types of mediations. So even when I may have my mediation mask when I'm dealing with people, as far as like, when I walk into the room, when they see me, I
No.
also have my different mediation masks for the different types of mediations. So, I have, you have different types of personalities for your different mediations, because like I have, so you have divorce mediations. I have eviction mediation. Like I said, I do eviction mediation, and I mentioned divorce mediation is not my forte, but I could do it. Community mediation, with that you can have violence, racial, negotiation, it could be all kinds of different disputes, cross-cultural, community decision making, all kinds of things can be involved with community mediation. International mediations, environmental, entertainment, employment, health mediation. It's so many different types of mediation that we can go through. But every time I walk into a different type of mediation, I don't walk in with the same type of mask on. I walk in with a different type of mask on. So if I walk in with a community to do a community mediation, I'm not going in with the same, I may not have a suit or something on like that. If I'm going into the streets and I'm doing like working with a group of people that's within the community, then I am with them, and I am going to, I don't want them to feel like I am trying to look like I am more than, because I am not, so I'm not walking in there with a suit on. I'm not going to do that because I feel like it's wrong. I don't feel like I'm developing trust, just because I'm going in there dressed with a suit on. I'll come in there with my company shirt, my t-shirt on, just so I could stand out as this is what I'm representing, and I just have my regular pants on. I could put my hat on, it just depends, but if I'm going to do, let's say, a divorce mediation, I'm going to put on something appropriate for the occasion. Just like if you're going to court, I'm not putting on, a t-shirt and jeans. It's just different type of masks that I put on depending on what type of mediation setting that I'm going to be in. So I think that type of thing is very important to understand also, because otherwise, we can't just walk into mediations and just assume that you can just say, well, it's just mediation. We just accept me. I have this degree. I have this training. I have that. That's not how it works. Yes, you have it, but you also have to, and this is what I believe, you also have to look the part as far as respectfully what our outer part looks like too. But then I think about, as I'm saying this, and I think about like, well, Shelley, what does that mean? And I just said, Shelley, now, okay, so when I talk about the masks that I wear, I have 4 different other types of masks. My name is Michelle, okay? That's my school mask. That's my Vikram mask. That's the mask that I wear at a 100% professional setting. It is 100%. Then I have number 2. That's my Shelley. That's my nickname for Michelle. That's my other mask. And I do conduct business in that mask. My company is Change Starts with Hope, okay? And
we want this one. We want this person to come in. We sent the other one out.
Oh, no. Okay. But when it's Shelley, you cannot add the last name to it. It's kind of like Prince, the artist. It's just Prince.
That's it. That's what it is, Shelley. That's
It's just Madonna. So it's just Shelley. No E, it's just L-L-Y.
Okay, sorry. You get that
You
up.
changed it really fast.
Yeah.
It was like
I just
typing away.
realized that she's got this Vikram mask. We have to remove it.
Vikram is so fast. He's so attentive. He's so good.
He is,
So,
he really is.
Shelley is you know, that's who I am. That's the personality. That's the mask that you're actually getting right now, actually, Vikram. Michelle, you'll get that. That's that fear. That's that person that you have. It's the fearful person also, but she is that sponge, you know, and that learner person. But Shelley is just, she's just the mask is just whatever. I'm a worker. It's the friend. It's just everything. But then you have Shalita. She's that spicy one. Don't mess with her. She's fun. Shalita was part of the pictures that you saw at the graduation. You know, she's the one that's holding up the degree, you know, all types of ways. But then you have Shaquita, and Shaquita, you already know what the name sounds like. So it's just so those are my four masks that I've had all my life. You know, those are things that I've carried with me since I was born. Those names have gone with me. They have been given to me from my family. I think my mom and my dad has called me Shalita. I think my mom gave me the Shaquita, I think, because I was bad. So I'm named after my dad, which is Michelle, and Shelly is just short of Michelle. So that was just my nickname. But, you know, I've been a masked person all my life. So, you know, when I think about, you know, how I tied all of this together, you know, with mediation, it wasn't difficult because I know how I've been judged all my life. And then I know how I've walked into different situations with jobs and even with then tying it into mediations and how I've been approached. And even like Tina, when you said that, you know, you walked into a situation and they said, "Oh, I thought you were white." I've had people say that to me. And I'm like, oh my goodness, the boldness that people have, you know, and no shame. You know, it's a shame. But I'm tired of doing that voice. I'm literally tired of doing it. I just want to just talk and just, you know, I just like to get to work and just do it because it can really be taxing on the throat.
You know, I appreciate your sharing about the mask. My takeaway is.
I like your smiles, Vikram.
I should not be smiling. It's a very serious
goodness.
issue. It's a serious issue, but
It is. It's hurtful though. There's some hurt in there too because
you have to
like in that moment.
It's okay. It is okay.
So you just kind of get used to it, actually, Vikram, because you've experienced it your entire life. So there's a certain resilience that you'll have developed over the years. But I see your different masks as an ability to meet people where they are at. And so that's where I feel the positive comes in because you are reading the room and you are understanding the needs of the people you're trying to help. It would look completely absurd to go, or it might not be as helpful to go to try to deal with a community dispute where that's a t-shirt and jeans situation. I'm going to pin my hair up in a bun or something. I'll do something with it and put on a t-shirt, some blue jeans and some sneaks and get my hand, get in there in the community. Because I do feel like we have to be adaptable and meet people where they're at. And I think that's exactly what you've been doing. But there's another layer of the constant having to prove your worth. Like, I don't know how many degrees. I'm thinking now about getting a master's in law. I'm like, how many degrees do I really need before you understand I love this work, I'm competent, I can do this work. I don't even have to think about it because, like, I'm recovering from surgery. I have like stitches. I'm trying to keep still, but you guys there get me riled up. So I'm just like, ow. But it's just there's a level of disappointment. Like you study, you work really hard, you spend all and invest in yourself. You spend this time to educate yourself. And sometimes it feels like it's still not enough to be seen as an equal, as someone that is equally as competent as my white counterparts, who also may have shared the same journey as me, or just different shades of skin color. And
It's just
I
one
can't
person.
detract from what they did to get to where they are at.
One
But-
person.
Yeah.
We're changing acceptance one person at a time. If we can get to 10 people at a time, great. 20 people at a time, even greater. So I just feel like we just can't stop. I smile, I put that mask on of smiling and saying, I'm going to just keep on going. I'm not going to stop, because I look at people 50 years ago that wanted to be in the shoes that I'm in and couldn't be in them.
Oh yeah.
And, and then my mom sitting there with me getting a 4th degree,
Wow.
and the proudness that she has for me, that's enough, because I think about the people that could not walk in the shoes that I'm walking in. 50 years ago is not a lot. You're talking about people that couldn't even at one point walk in the same and be in the same schools with people that were white. This wasn't that long ago. And so I'm just glad that we are able to be in the same room and mediate. If I get one case that's with a person of a different race, of a different culture, then I'm happy, because we've already crossed that barrier. So if I have to put a mask on, then the mask goes on. It doesn't matter, because either way, I have, like I said, the masks, Michelle, Shelly, Shalita, Shaquita, I have masks regardless, and it's okay. So my goal is always to resolve the conflict. It's okay.
But look, the main thing is that on one end, we've discussed it in that symposium I had on heart, soul, spirituality, and mediation, bringing your authentic self. And on one end, we're talking about a mask. So this aspect, I think, for me, look, Shelly, or whatever that authentic self is, you'll have to tell us what that authentic self is. The bad person, the Shakita, whatever, whoever you are. I mean, that's perfectly, everything's all right. But bringing your authentic self, I feel, obviously always works. But of course, looking at the serious situation that you people have and racism and all, which I can't put myself in that place at all. I mean, of course, there's no way that I can even come close to understanding that, because you're going through it. And but I just feel that in this, as a mediator, bringing your authentic self, I think, is for me the most important aspect. And on the other end, because of the circumstances, the mask comes in. So I mean, balancing the two, I don't know. I'm not going to talk about balancing. I'm going to fall towards the authentic self. but whether that balancing should be done or not done, I mean, you have to tell me. Yes.
Yes. Look, Vikram, I have, I know our time is moving. I do have,
Time is not an issue on this side. If there's a time issue on your side, that's up to you.
oh no, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good for a moment. I do want to share. I think, Tina, you could appreciate this also.
But the important thing is, Shelley, is the evolution. I think the evolution is going to happen when all
Mhm.
those masks go away and that authentic self comes out. That is
Now,
the evolution of a mediator. In your case, that evolution is happening on a different level. Okay, that's the racism aspect of it. But as a mediator itself, when you reach that authentic self position, I think that's when you really, I mean, that you're in the right space.
see, I think that when I also think about the masks, I also think about or connect it with different mediation styles, because like, I guess because I have a degree in psychology, and you know how you'll have different styles of with counseling, you know, so you have different I think every mediator has their own style. You know, you may approach a mediation different. Tina may approach a mediation different. We all have our own, you know, we could follow that standard technique, but my way of speaking and getting into it may be different. And also, like I was saying, with each type of mediation, divorce mediation, community mediation, entertainment mediation, my style is going to be different in my approach to each one. So that's a different mask also. So I'm going to be authentic in each one. Tina, your nice brown hand is up.
I like my little brown hand.
Oh, mine is brown too.
I was going to say, in terms of authenticity, that I feel you are authentically you. It's just that you're adapting to the environment from which you're trying to successfully work and help another person resolve their conflict, and that is going to require some flexibility. So I see you are authentic. It's just that you handle things differently based on what that situation is that you're walking into. So that just, for me, it just means you adapt to whomever you're working with, and you meet them on their terms or meet them where they're at, and then you adjust. But I see it as authentic. I just think this is something people weren't really necessarily understanding, that there are challenges as a minority going into certain scenarios, which is very, very much true. Immediately they see your brown skin. And so that's challenging, because there's always going to be a preconceived notion. And you have some people that have their reptilian brain active nonstop, and they never move out that little space. So you have those people who haven't discovered the other aspects of the brain, unfortunately. And so you do have to adjust yourselves a bit and try to meet them where they're at, because it's pointless talking to someone if they are in that reptilian brain. You know it's going to be a challenge to meet them there, but you're up to the task, and you just adjust and you go from there. But it is frustrating. But I definitely feel like you're all of the Shelleys and
yeah.
So
Shalita,
now
Shalita,
it is
but
going to
all
be.
these girls, these fabulous women
No,
are
it's going to be Shelly
authentic.
now. Shelly is the one who's going to come in. All events,
Shelley,
the flyer is going to say Shelly now. Michelle is gone.
Oh,
Evolution has happened in
Vikram.
conversation with Shelly.
Shelley is
Oh my,
authentic, is what I will say.
if you write Shelley, you cannot, just don't put the last name.
I did not, did I? Did I? I
Okay.
did.
Nope,
I understood. I understood. Shelly is
Don't
coming
put
by
the-
herself. She doesn't need it. No, but okay, let me just put it out there. If anyone has any comments to put in right now, or when you're watching the recording, because I find this really interesting. But coming from this, I'll tell you another thing which I was not going to talk about. But in the flyers, now you will see it's all grayscale. Color is out. Okay.
Good idea. You know,
It's
that's a
already
great idea,
done. Yeah.
because it makes it so we're all the same. We're all mediators. That's the color. Just the
Exactly.
color of mediation.
No, I did. I mean, I put it out there. I didn't want to talk about it. But I said this is what the idea was. Let the countries go. Let color go. It's the individual. Listen to the person, and that is what you need to do. That's it. You don't need to have all these stereotypes. But let me tell you, the stereotypes aspect was something because of which the country came in. Whether I was saying, I keep saying that, look, people have some kind of stereotype about a country, and here you have a person. Because look, I choose people. I'm a little selective there, and I curate, as I call it. And when I have that person from a specific country talking to us, let people see that, look, they are wonderful people from that country. You might have just met the wrong person if you have a negative stereotype about that country. Let's put these people out. So that was the initial phase. The initial phase got a little extended because those events came back to back. But now I'm moving towards this side. Now it's the people, just the person. It's all going to be about that. Everything else goes away. Then that's where that whole global pool and that world mediation circle, for me, then it starts making sense. I don't know if you people agree with it or not agree with it. I mean, you can
Well,
give your comments.
I like it, and especially because I understand your concept. But I will tell you this: when I started looking at your content, I would look and I would say, "Oh, let me look at this person from this area," and I'm like, "Wow," because stereotypes are there. It's just something that we have. We do have it in us. And it was really interesting listening to different people from different areas and
And
abandoning our stereotypes.
so you did break through some of them. You did break through some of those stereotypes.
Yeah,
Good.
I love listening to it and attacking my own ignorance. Everybody has to recognize their biases, recognize their ignorance, and you attack it, and that's how you get rid of it. I'm not too high and mighty to sit here and say that I do not have biases, because it's just something that we all have. And it would be unfair. I would be lying if I did not admit that, especially as a professor that's sitting and I teach this kind of stuff. And I'm trying to teach my students, we all have biases, explaining stereotypes. And I'm like, and they're like, oh, we don't have biases. I'm like, yes, you do. And I'm explaining. And so who am I to say, no, I don't have biases.
Yeah. So biases and biases and stereotypes based on ignorance. That's what the point is. And so when you actually meet people who are from different parts of the world, you understand, look, it's not about anything else but the person. And if you can get to that person, but the only problem is, how do we get to the person when Shelley puts the Michelle mask on her? How do we get through to Shelley? So those are the issues that you have to put across for us.
But the thing is, Vikram, Michelle is Shelley. It's just different parts of me. Michelle, Shelley, Shalita, Shaquita, all of that. It's just me. And when Tina says, I meet people where they are, I do. I'm a chameleon. And I think that my background and when we are able to have that conversation, I think that you'll understand me a little bit more. You'll understand me better when I talk about those different parts of me. because they are meant to protect me. It's not me not giving my authentic self, because I am. It's not a mask per se, that, and I'm not hiding anything. It's just putting that best me out there so that I'm able to protect myself and also give whomever that best version of me, the best fitting version of me. So if I'm mediating a case, I'm not giving you I'm not giving you Shalita. It's not necessary.
Look, in my case, I'm telling you, it doesn't matter. All those things are masks that you might say that you put on. For me, it is that wonderful, beautiful soul that I am connecting to. And that's the person I know sits inside you. So all these things doesn't matter. Those are for the world. It can happen. That's all that is. That, and I'm telling you seriously, that's what it was for me always. That's what I do. I look at that aspect of people, connect to that aspect. And those are the people I bring in. And that's all that matters to me. All those masks for the world, Shelly, they don't work here. Let me tell you that. They don't work here. Those masks don't work here. It's you inside that. I was telling Ken also in that celebration we had, everyone talks about the books that Ken writes. And I told him, look, I don't read what you write. It's the beautiful soul that you are. That's what I connect with. And that's all there is. I mean,
you're looking at the person's heart,
Yeah.
You could just feel that heartbeat of a person. It has no words.
Exactly. That's what
it beats. When it beats, it says loved up. That's that's what it says. Nothing else. And so that's what you're hearing. You don't hear Shelly, Michelle, whatever.
Exactly. That's why I say I keep saying that heart, soul, spirituality, these three words I use so much, and whatever, every time those things will come in, those words, they're important. And I'm telling you, when you connect to that level, everything else doesn't matter. It's just connecting at that level. And it's something, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure everyone feels that, connects to it, but maybe don't work towards it. Maybe, I don't know. I wish Tina might have some comments on it. Is that hand up there for quite some time, or was it the earlier hand? What was this? This was
Up there too long.
And while you're talking, I'm going to get my share screen ready, because it's this one thing that I want to show, and it's going to be just about the different masks.
But what is the hurry, Sherry? Are you running off somewhere? You have to go somewhere.
No.
Yeah, you know. So exactly, relax. We really have,
Okay.
we have enough time.
Okay.
Analyzing the voice change. I will say, I would like for us to get to a point where we focus on the person, like Vikram said. I would like to get to a point where we see more representation of most capable people who actually love this work and are in this field, because I do a lot of volunteer work too. And I would like to see more of our brown faces represented. All faces is not just, I would like to see everyone represented, because the communities we serve are not one shade, they're multiple. And Vikram, I do love your honesty. And yes, he did tell Ken he didn't read the book. It's true. I almost fell out the chair laughing. But I appreciate this forum that's it is edutainment at its best. So I appreciate
good. Glad you enjoy it.
I always enjoy it. So, and I'm sure I see my doctor on Friday. He's gonna be like, Tina, everything going well? I'm like, no, I got a little pain here and a little pain there from the stitches.
Sherry doesn't know. Tina just went through a surgery. She's recovering from a surgery.
I heard her say that, but I heard her say, I don't know what type. I'm not going to ask you your business,
Yeah.
but don't laugh yourself out your stitches, Tina. Don't do that.
Behave. I got tomorrow to recuperate.
Oh my goodness, Tina.
But it's been a wonderful conversation, because this is the first time I've had a Black mediator come on and express what I've been struggling with. And, you know, your heart is in the right place and you just need an open-minded, you need people to be more open-minded in terms of when someone's trying to help you, to stop worrying about the superficial physical attributes and worry more about the heart of the person, and that they are there to help you, and just giving it a chance instead of preconceived notions. And they're in that reptilian brain, so, you know, trying to be a little more open to find out what else they got going on in their brain. There's other, they could learn something and experience something that would be life changing. So
Well, but look, in
hopefully
terms
more
of
representation.
look, in terms of work, I don't know how it works for you, but for me, I just feel that those people don't deserve you. You should not actually be mediating for them. That's the way I would look at it. They don't deserve you.
I've thought about that, and then I said to myself, you know what, I said, Shelley again. Okay, so I've said, you know what, Shelley, just go ahead and just continue, do the case, and then you're using this as a learning experience. Because, you know, everything that I do, I try to take it as a learning experience. That one case, I just said I knew that it wasn't going to be productive. So that's why I passed it along. But I've had cases where I knew that I kept taking my mask off and putting a new one on. And I felt myself, I'm like, oh my goodness, it's just I have no more mask left. You know, I didn't have any more approaches to this mediation to help this person see past me being a person. And it didn't matter what I said, what I did, nothing would change the fact that I'm a Black person. You know, nothing would change it. So if I'm the conflict, you know, now we're past, you know, what the real situation is that I'm trying to mediate. At this point, I'm the conflict. So, you know, I'm the trigger for this person. So I have to remove myself because I don't want to be the trigger for this person. And so I have to get rid of it. But I've had so many success stories, and that's what makes me happy. You know, when people recognize how great I am at mediating, and, you know, the many thanks that I received, and, you know, just that's what makes me so happy when people of all races, you know, when it goes beyond anybody looking at my color or my gender, and they're just like, wow, thank you so much, Michelle, you have been so helpful. They call me by my name and not, you know, it or, you know, her. It's, you know, I get so tired of the other type of words that a person may use to define or describe me. And when I get that type of gratitude, that's what makes me happy. And that's what lets me know that I'm doing the right thing and I've done the right thing, because I mediate with attorneys and people, you know, it's just everybody, and it works. And I know that my skill is up there, and nobody intimidates me. I don't care who you are. You don't intimidate me. I know my worth. I volunteer, just like you said, Tina, you volunteer. I do more volunteer work than anything. So it's like I'm constantly building on my skill. And challenges is, you know, I welcome the hardest cases. That's what I want. I want the hardest of the hardest. And that comes with people that are difficult. The case itself, you know, the dispute, that's not the problem. It's the people, you know, they can make a dispute, you know, big. And once we start breaking it down, it'll be something like this. And it's the people that made it like this. And when we break it down, they're like, oh, it wasn't even that big. But I'm not only putting masks on myself, I'm throwing masks on them so they can open their eyes to see through another lens, you know, so they could take off the lens that they're looking through, because sometimes they're not being rational. So not only am I, throwing my mask on, but I'm taking my mask off or taking the mask out of my person. I'm putting it on their faces so they could think and look at things in a more rational manner. And it works. Whatever works for me and goes with my heart, as Vikram talks about, with trying to properly solve the problem. I use methods, of course, that I learned in school. Of course, I didn't pay all of that money at Pepperdine, for nothing.
Yeah.
My mom would kill me. I went to school for a reason, and I use my education. I use my personal experience because that's worth a lot as well. And I've helped a whole lot of people. I think also my legal background, of course, that degree, like Tina, you said that you were talking about or thinking about getting your master's in law. Yeah, I think that's a great thing.
Yeah, I have a master's
Tina, just one
already.
second. Let me just your
I already
friends
have
of-
a master's. I'm thinking about getting a second
I was just saying,
master's.
one second. I was just saying Samantha is also watching us. I was just telling her to join the conversation. That's Shelly's friend, Samantha.
Hey, Samantha.
Hey, Samantha.
I just thought if she wants to join. Samantha, if you want to join us, please join us. The Zoom link, of course, you have the Zoom link, which is the conference Zoom link. Yeah. Yes, Tina, please.
What I was going to say, Shelley, in the example I gave you where racial epithets were used, I had time to mentally prepare, and that helped a lot. Now, had I been thrown in without any knowledge, that probably would not have been good. Because let me tell you. But I also feel that we have the responsibility, ethical responsibility, to know if something is not a good fit or is going to create harm in any way, to remove ourselves and refer or defer to a colleague, which could, be a better fit. And that's, you're just showing that you had no ego in that moment.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's important too. And if you do try to tackle a case like what I tackled, the understanding that
Finally, Tina's internet has also said, Tina, you need to rest.
You need to rest.
It seems she's frozen at this point of time. Tina, can you hear us? Yes, Shelley, you were going to share your screen and you were going to put up the masks. Is that what? Mhm.
Yeah. All right, let me share my screen.
Now, the one thing, Shelley, one thing that doesn't observe. Okay, maybe after you finish that. Oh my God, this will be an issue. Might be an issue, Shelley. You might have to pause it. You might have to pause this because if you play any other videos of YouTube on your YouTube in this session, they might have a copyright issue.
Oh my goodness.
This is a big. Together, what we'll do is we'll put the link out there and say, yes, watch this. Yeah.
Can you put that link out?
We'll put what we do is we'll take that YouTube video, that link, we'll put it on the comments in your session.
Okay. What the link, what the YouTube is just about another woman, Black female, and she's just discussing the different masks that she wears, and because she's talking about how she has to change her tones, the different words that she uses in order to be accepted, but how she does it within different areas of different communities, how she speaks. Just watch it. But thank you for telling me that.
Yeah, that becomes an issue. I mean, it just I should not have to put down the video only because of that. So because this is important, the conversation is really important.
No, definitely don't want you to have to do that. Also, Tina had to go.
But actually, let me tell you one thing. I don't know, of course, like I said, specific situation, racism and all that, those are things I can't relate to, or maybe not even understand. But otherwise, I'm saying if you are your authentic self, all this thing that people talk about, cultures and all that, according to me, it's really not relevant. It's like when you connect at a certain deeper level, all those things don't matter. So that whole cultural and cross-cultural interaction that people talk about, for me, it's just connecting to the human being, the person, the soul, the heart, and then everything else doesn't matter. So you don't have to, according to me, change yourself. You don't have to do anything. As long, like you said, some people might get offended by certain aspects. I don't think they'll get offended if they think you come from good intention, you have a good heart, you have a beautiful soul. They won't. I just feel that sometimes we go into that side and try to handle things because of the layers that have been put up around people. Everyone has got those layers and everyone is dealing with those layers instead. But go deeper and be yourself, and everything else will fall into place, is what I look at. I mean, look, I do, I mean, interact with people from everywhere, and I've never had to be any different. That all. Maybe people get offended and I don't know about it. Maybe people have fear and I don't know about it.
Vikram, you have a you're well, it's different. I don't expect you to understand the different masks that that I would have to wear. Is You're not me. You're not a Black female. Your skin tone looks close to mine. I mean, but you're not a Black female. It is what it is. But and you're not a female. I think that you are respected differently, of course. I cannot imagine you having any type of fear. And I had to be honest with you. I was fearful the first time, and I was just nervous. I'm like, oh my goodness, this guy, he's in India, and what if he thinks I'm stupid? Those were, and again, those were stereotypes that I was feeling that you would have on me.
And look, I can only talk about myself, and for me, stereotypes have never been there, actually, because it's all about the individuals. And I don't know whether but we do have a very, very huge population in this world. lots of individuals out there, and each of them definitely have, I mean, they're individuals, they have their individualistic self that they bring in. And to even say that we can actually stereotype people and put them into categories, what is the population of the world right now? What do you think it is?
Vikram, our very first conversation, you asked me this.
I asked you about India last time.
Oh my goodness, I'm
okay.
I know I'm not going to answer this question because I already know my numbers are wrong, but I remember India was I think it was the highest.
Yeah, now we're the highest. Yes, we won that race. We're now about 1.4 billion here, but the world population is about almost 8 billion people. If we have to categorize 8 billion people and have stereotypes for 8 billion people, then we got something wrong somewhere. Totally. Let them be individuals. There are 8 billion individuals, 8 billion cultures. I keep saying that. I mean, for me, each individual has his own culture. And to even say I can learn how to handle 8 billion cultures, can't happen. It won't happen. So let's just forget cultures and cross-cultural thing. It's just person, good human being, not a good human being. Let's just keep it that. I don't say bad human being. Let's
keep it simple. You keep
very
it
simple. Very simple. And look, for me, it's always been everyone who, of course, look, I kind of gauge in whatever way I have to, because I have to be selective whom I have to bring in, because you are the face for mediation, and for me, in what I do, in the work that I do, for me, you are the face of mediation, and I have to be selective whom I bring in. Some people I have to take out also, because I see certain aspects of them, and I see that one, white supremacy is one issue that I also see with people, and I do take that out. I bring them. I mean, I have to do it, but otherwise, I mean, according to me, I mean, when you just have maybe engaged in some other way, however you've done that. But once you've got the person inside, that's the best person in the world for me. I mean, innocent up till proven guilty situation. So that's the best person that you can have. And that's the way you interact with the person. That's it. You have to be yourself and hope that the other person brings their authentic self. And of course, that connection happens. And that's how it goes. I mean, that's the way it's been. It's worked quite well. It's worked quite well.
I'm glad that you did accept me.
And exactly. I mean,
I really wanted to be a part of the circle. And so I was like, oh, I hope he accepts me into this.
Well, it's the person that you are. I mean, tell you, Michelle, it's the person that you are. Look, okay, not Michelle, Shelley. It's the person you are. Maybe you don't realize that. I think that's where the issue sometimes lies. Maybe you don't realize the person that you are. But look, when I keep saying that beautiful soul aspect of it, you would not know that maybe. How would you know that? Maybe you don't know that. But that's what it is. It's about you and that soul of yours which comes in, and everything is around that. Everything else, the vibrations that you create, the energy that you bring in, like I said, maybe you don't know about that. It's other people to maybe tell you that. So, and that is all. I mean, look, everything else can evolve. Everything else can evolve. But that aspect of it, that basic soul or whatever word you want to use for it, does that evolve? I don't know. Maybe that doesn't, according to me. Everything else will fall into place as we go along. Whoever Shelley identifies it, whether it has to be any specific thing or not, does it really need a tag or not? I don't know. But we know that we experience it. We experience that person that you are. What name that person has to have, you don't have to put it out there.
Yeah, we don't have to put it out. Okay, now I have to get to work.
Yes, please. Thank you very much. Always a pleasure speaking to you. And we have to do In Conversation with the Beautiful Mind in July. Please. What is a good time for you? I mean, weekdays are good or weekends are good? Because there has to be a relaxed conversation. It can take as much time as it has to take. I mean, of course, the longest I think must have gone for about 3.5 hours. So that's the longest, but I mean, I'm not saying that we have to go for that long. As much as we got, but let the conversation flow. Let time not be a factor.
Yeah, and a weekend is good. Saturdays are good for me, of course. Or during the week, just as long as as long as my schedule is good, because school is over now, so as of right now, because I do plan on going back. But
no, Shelley, no. Right now you have to do work in the terms of the World Mediation Circle. You have to connect so many people. You have to bring in so many people. All that work. There's lots of work on that end.
I'm currently working on 2 things. Okay, so right now I am trying to decide if I'm going to get my doctorate in education or just finishing and just get my JD. I'm not sure exactly what I want to do as far as that goes, but those are my options. I plan on starting school, in the fall either way. So no, it's not, I can't start in the fall because it's June now. So I need to do something soon because I want to start school ASAP. So I planned on studying for the LSAT because I know that the next testing is in October. So I do need to start getting started now for that. And I need to pay for my test.
But the world needs you. Now the world will have to wait for you to finish that education of yours. We don't want the world to wait so long.
The world's not going to wait because, my kids are grown. Tina, she was so kind and she was like, I think that I'm older than you. And I wanted to say, Tina, I think that you might not be.
She's going to come back. She's trying to get in. She's trying to connect. Please tell her this. Please.
But then she said something about she was interviewing in the 90s or something like that.
Okay, let me just tell you, you do know that it's all going live. We are still live. You know that, no? So whatever you're saying, as this, yeah,
it's
that's the
okay.
authentic self we need. That's the authentic self we need.
It's my authentic me, Shelley.
Yeah.
So when she said that about the 90s, then I said,
Okay,
she's
she might
older
be.
than
She might be.
because I was still in school. I was a child.
Tina, we were just bitching behind your back. That's all we were doing. Nothing more than that.
So I was like, okay. I was like, she has me there. Hi, Tina.
You'll have to watch the recording for what we were bitching about. So
We were
but-
just. I was just talking about you.
okay,
You have to listen.
yeah, now you have to listen to the recording. Yeah. But okay, but with July, you said you want a weekend. You want to do what Saturday
Yeah.
morning? Saturday morning of yours. Saturday
Yeah.
morning is not good for you.
Mhm.
Saturday morning is okay.
That'd be good for me. Mhm. And I think that'd be good. It's like that probably would be like a psychology session, a counseling session for me. Do you have a degree in psychology, Vikram?
It seems that life has taught me that. That's the only
It's like,
degrees I believe in. What life brings to you.
really?
Yeah.
Well, at least I have a psych degree also. So the funny thing is, I said to myself, man, if I need to, I wanted to keep going with my psych degrees, but then I said, I'm just not all together upstairs, so I'm like, nah, I don't need to get it in. I want to stop this because I said I would be a disservice because I am so emotional. I'm just like, and then everything just hurts me so bad. So because I am just an emotional person, I think just because of so many things that's happened to me, and I'm so in touch with my emotions at this stage in my life, I can't do it. Conflict resolution is my thing right now, and I can deal. That's my I guess the tip of my iceberg. That's as far as I can go. But anything else as far as like counseling, I can't do it because I find some type of emotional connection to everything. And so
but you do bring your emotional self into the mediation. You bring that, or you don't wear the mask there, do you?
I can't bring my emotional side to any mediation because I'll get too involved, and that's it'll mess everything up. I can't. I understand everything. I empathize with people, but if I bring my emotional side, I'll show that I understand both sides. And, most times I do, even if I know that both sides are wrong, I still understand both sides. And I want both sides to understand that. I want both sides to trust me. Just because I think that somebody is wrong doesn't mean that they don't have reason to believe their side. So I try to understand their reason, and sometimes I already do understand, but I want to help them convey their reasoning to the other person or persons, and vice versa. And just because that helps with working towards a resolution. But I always, no matter what, I understand both sides, but I never bring my personal into it.
Well, let's try that, Sherry. Just bring your full self into some mediation, a few of them maybe in the next 1 week or 10 days. Totally yourself, nothing else, no masks, nothing. Let's see how it goes. Let's find out. Then we'll ask those people what came out of that. Just try it. Maybe let's see what is the worst that can happen. What's the worst that can happen?
They get the authentic Shelley, but
no, all of them together. We want all of them to come together, not just Shelly. Can we have that?
No, they get Michelle and Shelley.
No. We have entire package, entire package, and with it the emotional package and every package together. Let's all put it all together and let's give it to them. And of course, look, we can't give it to everyone. Only those people who deserve you. We just give it to those people.
You're gonna laugh at this. They get Miss Edison.
Oh my God, we'll have to get those glasses off first of all. We're going to-
For eviction mediations, it's Miss Edison. Oh my goodness.
No.
But then other mediations, then it's just Michelle.
Okay, where is that opportunity to bring everything together? That entire package, is there an opportunity? Maybe in some community mediation to start with?
Community mediations is Shelley.
Okay.
It's
Okay, so-
always, yeah, we always, I stick to Shelley because my company is Change Starts with Hope, right? And then everything is Shelley of Change Starts with Hope. So that's what they know me as.
Okay.
And so,
No,
yeah.
you're in a hurry right now, but you've just picked up another aspect of the mask that I should, and I want to discuss is these mediators hiding behind the brand. It's Michelle or Shelley. We don't need Change Starts with Hope or anything. We want you, your picture out there. We want people to know you. That was the whole, yeah. That's another mask. I call it a mask.
You know, that is true. And it's a branding mask. But when I am out and about, like if I'm in the community, then anybody can be Shelley. You know, it's the girl around the corner is Shelley. But if they know that they're talking about Shelley from Change Starts with Hope, then they know they're talking about me. They know that they're talking about the girl that's helping everybody. So that's why it's going to be Shelley from Change Starts with Hope.
It's Shelley, the picture. They have to have the picture of you in front of them. And that's the brand. Okay, there might be 6 other people in the world who would have the same face is what they say, who look like you. Okay, that's okay. That's a little competition you might have there. But
right.
They can't speak.
Prettier than me?
They can't, those other 6 will not speak like you. They don't have the experiences that you've had. So we don't have to worry about that. Put yourself out there, Shelley. That's what the world needs. That's exactly what it needs. The authentic self out there. No, nothing else. Nothing else we need. Yeah. But Tina has a hand up, or okay, not a hands up, or hand up. Yes, Tina, please.
Only one little hand, Vikram.
Yeah, I know.
I just want to apologize for my technical difficulties today. Sometimes technology does whatever it pleases, and the day was one of those days. But I just wanted to say I admire what you're doing, Shelley, and I think hopefully one day the mask won't be so necessary. But I appreciate you sharing your authentic self and your story.
This is just this is a starter teaser. This is a teaser. July is when she really shares a story. That's what's happening.
You're gonna okay. You have to update me with what I missed. I know you were talking about me.
No. In July, Shelley is going to share her story. That's when you're going to hear the story. Right now, it's just a teaser of what Shelley's all about.
That sounds good.
Yep.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
So anyway, thank you both of you for coming in. It was a wonderful conversation. Serious conversation, serious things that you people are talking about. And of course, like I said, for me to even relate to it, not even coming close. But of course, I mean, I'm still going to say that please bring your authentic self, and those people who really deserve you, value you, those are the people you should be interacting or doing work for also. That's what I would do. I mean, okay, like I said, work-wise, maybe it doesn't work. I don't know how it works, but that's the way I would want it to be.
So we also need to talk about emotional intelligence, part of the
Tina, how many topics? Please, you've got the schedule with you. Please schedule those topics. Let's do it. AI is one.
AI.
Emotional aspect, of course. What else? You said something else last time.
Emotional intelligence.
And anything else? Any other topic you can think of? Just look, what you do is you'll have a look at the schedule. Just give me any time slot that's convenient, because right now on the schedule that's out there, there are not too many time slots there. I'll create something. What is normally a good time for you? Because I could start at 6:30. Some sessions I can do at 6:30 India time. So I don't know what time is it right now for you?
It is 1:05 right now for me.
Okay, so just take it 4 hours before this. Okay, so 4 hours before this, is it a good time? Basically at 7
Yeah.
o'clock, at 8 o'clock.
That's fine.
8 o'clock?
I'll work it out.
At 9 o'clock. At 9 o'clock your time.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, so we can fix up at that time. So Shelly, thank you very much for putting out an interesting topic. And I think these are topics that this is what the idea was. Bring out these interesting topics. Let's talk about it. And of course, what are you discussing next, Shelly? What's the next one that you're talking about?
We are going to discuss men and women, men versus women in mediation.
You've done males versus females. That's what you put out there.
Is it
That's
male versus female?
Want me to
Male
change
versus
it?
female.
If you want me to change it, I can do it. I can.
Oh, keep it what it is. Male
Males
versus
females.
yeah.
That's what.
in mediation. Yeah.
Oh, sure. You wanted to.
No, keep
men-
it what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm okay with it. It's your topic. I don't touch topics.
no,
Imagine
it was-
Tina. She said males versus female. I kept it like that. I still asked her, "Do you want me to make it females? I will only do it if you want me to. It's your topic. I don't touch topics. I of
No,
course
No,
suggest."
no, you got it right. I just
Perfect.
that's right.
So I'm trying to say that's why I don't even touch topics, because we don't know what you have in mind. Maybe it is female and males versus female. I don't know what you would want to talk about. So we will go with your topic. But in this case, you let me change it. So it's okay.
No, it's fine.
So
That's
Michelle-
next Wednesday.
and if any other topic comes in your mind, please let me know and we'll schedule it. Like I told you, I can create a 6:30 p.m. India time slot, because that beyond that I can't do it, because look, this session right now it's 10:30 India time. I can't go beyond this for sure. So
Right.
I can start at 6:30, but I can't. The last session has to be 8:30. I don't have an
Gotcha.
option there. But we can always do your night session, because your 10 o'clock at night is my 10:30 morning on a Wednesday. Wednesdays are good for me. So your Tuesday nights is available. And Tuesday nights. So Tina, with Tuesday nights, my Monday morning, my Wednesday morning works for me also. So please have a look at the schedule. Please let me know.
I'll have a look at the schedule,
So
work it out.
thank you very much.
Thank you,
Lovely
Vikram.
conversation. And
Thank
of
you.
Lovely
course,
meeting you. Thank you. Always a pleasure to spend time with
but
the
please,
phenomenal Vikram.
oh, please, but please connect with each other.
You're too modest, Vikram. You're too modest.
Definitely.
Too much. Well, a little too much for some people sometimes also. So we basically, please connect with each other. All the
Okay.
schedule has the LinkedIn profiles. You should just connect and let's do
Okay.
good things together. The World Mediation Circle, lots of work to be done there. Lots of work.
Yes. Thank you,
Thank
Vikram.
you.
All right.
Right.
Thank
Thank
you
you
very
for
much.
this authentic conversation, Shelley. I appreciate it very much.
Thank you very much, Tina, for participating with me.
I'm telling you, when Shelly brings in her authentic self, it will be very, very different. Right now, it is still, there are certain aspects that are still there. Some masks are there. All that is, when all that gets removed, you'll see a totally different person.
Oh
You see,
my.
just, nah.
We'll see.
All right.
Have a good night.